Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. Sunday chat yet again on a Monday. It'll be the same next week as well, or what will be this week in fact. So I'm distracted at the moment. The steps are just outside the grow room and the robin's sitting there. I don't know why he sits on the steps. Anyway, yeah, the bird feeder's been set up and the birds are starting to come back, but it's a bit slow progress. All four types of the tits have been here, so blue tit, great tit, long-tailed tit and cold tit, but they're not here every day. The robin, obviously, and some sparrows and the nuthatch. So that's all I've got. I've got no finches yet, so we'll have to see how it goes. It's early days, it's beginning of October. It's not cold yet, that's the thing. It's when it turns cold and the countryside runs out of food, that's when the finches come in. Anyway, if there's any filming of the birds on the bird feeders, that will be for the garden channel from now on anyway, so that's that. Right, what have I been up to then? Hannah was down at the weekend and she was very tired, but we still got some stuff done. She went to work as normal on Friday, which means she's up at 2 o'clock in the morning to start work at 4 to do her care work, which finishes at lunchtime, and then with 2 other people she goes off to clean somebody's house and help with their garden. There's 3 of them go together, and the guy collapsed, so they had to go to hospital and look after him and get everything sorted out. She didn't get home till 5 o'clock in the morning and sat down on the floor to say hello to the cats, fell sound asleep and was still asleep when I got there Saturday morning to pick her up. So we were late getting going, obviously she hadn't got herself ready and packed her stuff or anything, literally the doorbell woke her up. So she was very tired, but anyway, we got down here lunchtime-ish. We stopped and had, like we usually do, we stop in one of those roadside, well, they're endearingly called burger vans, but very few people actually have a burger. We had bacon and egg roll, it's like a breakfast, brunch you could call it. Almost lunch this time anyway. So at least we've had something to eat and got back here, and then we hit the bamboo basically, and it had to have 2 people because the hedge trimmer, the motor, is at the top end, not at the bottom end. So the trigger and the handle and the pole weigh far, far less than the actual motor and the blade, and that's at the top end. So when you've got it extended, it's incredibly unwieldy and heavy, and sort of pulls you forward because of the weight basically, and I'm having to do that in some cases standing on the top step of the steps. So there was no way I was going up the steps waggling that thing around without somebody on the bottom of the steps holding them firm. That's why it needed 2 people. I needed Hannah to do that job, but we got it done. And Hannah said, right, well, you've been doing all the work, all I've been doing is standing on the step, so I'll clear it up. So by then my back was starting to hurt because everything's at an angle with weight and twisting, yeah. So I was starting to twinge quite a bit, so I was pleased that Hannah decided to do the clearing up. And I had a sweep up round here, and the bags that I created last time, when the last lot of Carol's plants came, I had to clear some space to plant them and everything. So we got all that round to the carport, and then we had a nice meal, and that was it for Saturday. That was Saturday done. And made sure Hannah got an early night and a decent night's rest sort of thing on top of her sleep loss. And then Sunday, she said, right, what are we going to do today? And I said, quite honestly, I don't care if we don't do anything today. The big job, the bamboo, that I had to have help with, is done. Everything else that's left in this garden I can do on my own. it's nice to have somebody to work with, obviously, and chat with while you're working. That's great. But it's physically possible for me to do everything else on my own. So I said, I'm not fussed. And she said, what about all the stuff in the carport? That needs to go round the tip, doesn't it? Round the recycling centre. I said, yeah, but I can sort of do that. There's no rush for that. She said, well, why don't we have a go at that today? Because if I help you, then you're only doing half the work. For the carload, you're only doing half of it. So you're only picking up half the bags and emptying them, and I'm doing the other half. Those huge bundles of bamboo that I created, again on the gardening channel, the last time I had a go at the bamboo, the big thick bits that I cut off, you know, for every 2 of those I'm only manhandling 1. So we had a couple of trips around the recycling centre and cleared out a lot of the carport. So there's still some there, but not much. All the bamboo's gone, so the mess has gone, and there's a few more bags to go. But there's still a bit of autumn tidying to do out there, so there'll be a few more bags anyway. But there'll be another, probably only one more trip for this year, and that will be the remainder of the clippings, you know, from things we've got to do. So yeah, it was a sort of gardening type weekend. We didn't get the bulbs planted that we were planning, and we didn't get the rest of the plants in the gravel beds, but again, that's all stuff I can do myself. So yeah, so it was an enjoyable weekend. We had a nice cooked brunch on Sunday, and then a nice meal later Sunday afternoon before I took Hannah home. And yeah, not long ago I had one of my headlamps go, and I went round to the one of the car places that they'll fit them for next to no cost. I can't be bothered to get my hands dirty. You have to take all the headlamp assembly out and mess about. I thought, it's somebody who does that, who knows what they're doing and has got the right tools, they're going to do it in seconds, aren't they? And they were offering a free 10-point winter check, you know, where they check your battery, your charging, they check your tyres, your pressures, your fluids, all that sort of thing. They do that as part of it, a sort of free checkup. They're obviously hoping to find something wrong so that they can get the work. Well, they didn't. Tough. So while they were replacing the headlamp, because it's a Volvo, the headlamps are on all the time. You can't turn them off. The country that that's manufactured in, it's basically law that you have to have dipped headlamps on all the time. Even in brilliant blue sky sunshine, you still have your headlamps on. That's how they work, so that it's built into the car. So when one headlamp bulb goes, the other one's not far off, is it? Because they're the same age and they've been used the same amount of time. So I said, well, you just as well fit a pair, or I'll be back next week for the other one, so just do them together. And he said, do you want the ultra bright ones? How much extra are those? And they were only a few pounds extra. And the difference driving home last night down those country roads, talk about lit up. So it was well worth the extra money, absolutely well worth it. I've never tried those before, the sort of, you know, so much extra brightness sort of thing. I used, quite honestly, I thought it was a bit of a gimmick, but no. The amount of extra light on the road was quite incredible. So yeah, that was well worth it. That's the first time I've driven at night since I had them fitted, literally. So I didn't know until then. Right, so that's what's been going on this weekend and stuff. And what else? Coming up this week, not much really. I won't be doing much. There's some planting to do, which I'd like to get done. Probably won't do it today because of the work over the weekend. I don't want to push my luck with my back, because at the moment I'm okay. I got up this morning okay, so don't push it and all that sort of stuff. But tomorrow there's still some planting to do outside. Work on orchids is literally down to next to nothing now. The only thing, I've just done this morning. It's not orchids, but it's in the grow room. The few little air plants that I've got, there's nowhere really for them to be. So I just mounted them all. They haven't got any moss or anything like that. They're just sat on the mount, basically. And then they can just have a spray or something every now and again. They don't need much water anyway, especially, you know, humidity's reasonable in here. So yeah, they're just sort of stuck on. Well, they're wired on basically just to hold them in place. There's 4 different ones there. So I did that this morning, so that's already done obviously. And we can go over there where they get some of the light. But actual work, the kikis I'm going to send to Carol. I might do those tomorrow because I collect cardboard boxes, not really for me, they're for Hannah because she runs a little eBay business and she needs boxes, you know, obviously to send stuff in. But she does get some because she buys and sells, so you know she gets things that she buys, she gets boxes and then she can reuse them when she sells on. She tends to buy a big bulk lot and then split it up into smaller lots because not everybody wants that, you know, the large amounts. But you get the discounts, you get the big discounts by buying large amounts and then you can sell them on at increased prices. So yeah, she does that, but I have a box up there that is suitable for Carol's kikis, so I may well pop round the post office tomorrow and get those posted. I don't want to leave it any later. If I don't do it tomorrow, then even though it's a 24-hour service, I don't like pushing it because they've got problems, you know, you walk out and have a strike or something or other and everything grinds to a halt. So I'd rather post them Monday or Tuesday. It won't be today, so if I do it tomorrow, if not, it'll be Monday or Tuesday the following week. But yeah, so there's that to do. I can film that, boxing up some kikis to send off. The Friday Project Orchids video that I did last Friday, the last one of the year, where the whole year is summed up, actually got a lot more views than the individual ones throughout the year. So I hope that is maintained throughout the rest of, you know, we've got 7 more orchids to finish off for the year. And they're on each Friday as we go through October and November. Each Friday will be a Project Orchids video for that orchid, summing up the whole year. So you've got like a whole year's you know, growth or not or whatever. So that'll be Friday. Saturday I'm at our orchid show. That's not a crack of dawn start for me. Setting up the tables and all the cloths and everything like that, others can do. Mainly because once they've done that and it opens to the public, they've got nothing else to do, whereas I have. Because I'm treasurer, I'm stuck on the door a lot of the day, you know, the public coming in, or certainly for the first couple of hours when hopefully the throng all pile in, let's hope. Yeah, so I've got other stuff to do sort of thing, but I'm going to take quite a few plants this time. Obviously my Cymbidium here will go. Blackjack will go, definitely. Have a look at this, because this is doing very well. So this will go, mainly because it's a bit unusual. So, you know, we've got this bloom that's been open a while, this one's opening as well. So by the end of this week, that's going to have 3 blooms open. So that's good, so that can go. The other stuff is going over, so it won't go, because by the time we get to the weekend it's going to look a bit sad. There's nothing else over here. Hannah said, why don't I take Hibiki? She said it's got a nice set of blooms on it, it's not a bad looking plant. It's funny actually, when I look at this plant I think, actually it's a little bit tatty. And then I have a good look at it and I think, actually, if I did that and that, now it's not a tatty plant, it was just 2 leaves. All the other leaves are a nice bright green. And we've got that cluster of flowers in the middle. There's some more buds coming up here, but they won't be open by next week. There's a few kikis on here as well, but they're absolutely tiny. So yes, that can go. Yeah, that can go. So that'll be another one. So that's 3. That's blackjack. I'm not going to take this Masdevallia, even though that third bloom may well be open, because the first one will have gone over, so it'll only have 2 blooms, it's not worth it. I will take my Oncidium. Now, I don't know whether I can actually get that out at the moment because it's, oh, I can just put those, there's a few pots in front of it, but they're easily moved. So I will take this. This is my Oncidium Honeybee, and that's got a nice lot of bright flowers with a tall upright spike. The plant is awful, but the plant can be buried in amongst other stuff. So that you can't see it, basically. I'll make sure the lady who does the display gets reminded, hide the plant. But the spike's nice, there's a nice bit of bright yellow to stick up over the top. So that can go, providing it's still okay by next week, which it should be. It should still be okay next week. So that's that. So that's 4 I can take. And there isn't really anything else. In fact, I think I might take that, depends how many more buds open. The giant Nobly over the back there, the one that Carol's having the kikis off of, which is Sweet Pinky Momoko. It's actually got a name. So I think I might take that, because again, it's tall, it'll stick up. So it's something that can go towards the back, because all the flowers are at the top. So that could probably go as well. So there's another good reason for me not getting there at the crack of dawn. I'll have to pack all my plants up before I go, so I'm not doing it. Well, I might do it the day before, I suppose I could do. We shall see. And then obviously on Saturday I will film the show. So, you know, we will have video of, it's not a competitive show, so it's not like tables with sections with different categories of orchids in. It's a display. So the display is put on by a member of the society who doesn't grow many orchids. In fact, she grows tropical plants, basically. So the display is a mix of primarily orchids, but with tropical houseplants and ferns mixed in to make a complete display. And she puts little, you know, like little China frogs in amongst the plants and things like that, make it look a bit more jungly sort of thing. But she does a good job, she does a really good job. And obviously I need to get my plants there in time for her to include them. In addition, I'm not going to go and get them now, but there's 2 Phalaenopsis in bloom out there with good spikes on, you know, so they'll go. So if we've got yeah, for once I've actually got quite a few that can go. I've just noticed my Odontype over here has got aphids. I'm going to have to deal with these aphids. They're here. They've got on my Victoria Regina, but those blooms, I'm just about to take them off, and I will take them off and throw them outside, so that all the aphids that are on them are gone. But they started on the Shari Baby and they went mad on there. That's been sprayed, and they are, I can't see any on the Shari Baby now. It looks like it's dealt with them, but they're on the buds of this Odont here. They're not on the Masdevallia right next to it. Well, actually they are. I'm going to have to deal with these. They are a nuisance. Yeah, they're on this Odont as well. So they're not on Blackjack. This is good, because if there's any bugs on it, I won't be able to take it. I'll have to check them thoroughly, won't I? Yeah, so there's the Oncidium if it's still okay. The Nobly, because that has really huge, they're impressive blooms, they are. Blackjack, the Hibiki, and the 2 Phalaenopsis. So I'm taking, normally I've either got nothing or perhaps just 1. So for me to have 6 plants to take is pretty good going. So it's it's timing, you know. So that's how it is. And obviously I will film the show. The traders there will be Lawrence Hobbs, and Burnham's will be there. Well, Arthur will be there. Sarah won't, because at Burnham's nursery on Saturday, they've actually got an event. What is it? It's the build yourself a terrarium course that she does. So you get like a container and the plants and the media and some bark and everything like that, and like a group of people sit down with Sarah and build a terrarium with the plants or anything, and then you take it away with you. That's yours to keep. You've paid for it basically by paying for the course. But yeah, Sarah was doing that on Saturday, so she definitely won't be there. And then on the Sunday is Devon Orchid Society's annual show, which is held at Burnham's nursery. Now, you know what happened last weekend? I had the Bournemouth Orchid Society show on Saturday, and I was supposed to be going to the bonsai show on Sunday, and I just couldn't rustle up the energy to do it. But I really want to do that this weekend. I want to go to the Devon Orchid Society's display. I know several members there. It'll give me a chance to look round Burnham's, probably the last time this year. So, you know, there's several other orchid societies will have displays. The Orchid Paradise will be, you know, there's an awful lot to film during that day. You know, I'd probably get 3 or 4 days videos out of that visit. And, as I said, it will probably be the last chance to visit Burnham. So I want to do that. I really am going to push myself to, because it's a long day, hour show on the Saturday. I'll probably get there about 9 o'clock, it's an hour's drive. And I won't get away till 5. The show doesn't shut to the public till, I think it's either 4 o'clock or 4:30. You've got to pack all your plants up. You know, all my treasurer's stuff and everything's all got to be packed up, loaded in the car. So it's going to be a long day. So it's going to be an effort to actually get up and go to Burnham's on Sunday. It's quite an effort. It's about 105, 110 miles. It's 2.5 hours drive. So, you know, each end, with a lovely breakfast on the way. And some nice cakes and stuff while I'm there. There's the incentive, cake. That'll do it. Yeah, so that's next weekend, and then that's it. There is nothing until March next year, when Bournemouth Orchid Society's show comes around. February, sorry, theirs is February. In their new venue next year. So the next one, the next Bournemouth show will be at their new venue. Have to see how that works out. Yeah, but that's a long gap, you know, middle of October through to the end of February. There's nothing, no orchid related stuff anywhere in there. So it's what's called winter, isn't it? And then it starts up again. February will be the first show, so that's that. And then all weekends and everything will be back to normal after that. But yeah, so there certainly won't be a Sunday chat next week, unless I bail out and don't go to that show, which I really don't want to do. I want to go, I need to really push myself. You're going sort of thing, get it in there. And you're saying the same thing, because you want to see the videos of the displays and everything, don't you? Plus Burnham's, you know, look round there. I won't film the whole thing, but you know, we'll certainly have a look round, see what Sarah's got for sale. There's probably some nice Cymbidiums out at the moment, the earlies will be there. Well, this was one of Burnham's, so that sort of thing anyway. So, yeah. Yes, so that's what's going on. And as I've said, it's the Orchid channel will be difficult. I mean, I have noticed that most of the other orchid societies, orchid channels that I'm subscribed to, the ones I enjoy watching, which I've cut down a lot. Do you know, I used to be subscribed to about 90 different orchid channels. We can't watch them, can you? You know. So I pick the ones that I get enjoyment out of. There aren't that many that I actually get information out of, but every now and again I do. I mean, I very rarely get any information out of one of Danny's videos that I don't already know. She does tend to head down towards the beginner end than the, you know, sort of expert 50-year grower type people. She doesn't aim at those, but she does very well at what she does. You know, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But yeah, there are some channels that I do get information off sometimes, which I think, ooh, well, not a lot of people know that. And I didn't either. But yeah, a lot of the channels I watch is for enjoyment. I enjoy them. There's an entertainment value sort of thing. So, out of those channels, I've noticed the postings are getting a bit thin on the ground on quite a few of them. Not as frequent as perhaps they once were. So perhaps other people are in the same boat as me. It's the time of year where there just isn't much going on. And most of what I'll have from now on is new blooms. Oh, Mojo's awake. What? What? Noisy tyke. He's just saying hello. I think he's looking round for Hannah. He instantly recognises Hannah when she comes down. I mean, he is officially her cat. You know, his first 2 years was with Hannah, sort of thing. It's just that she lived somewhere where she couldn't keep cats anymore, so he's been with me ever since. And he'll get thrown outside if he keeps making that noise. Oi! Oi! Come on. Come and say hello. Come on. He's all bleary-eyed, he's just woken up, I think. So what do you want then? Apart from all that noise, eh? We don't want all that noise, do we? Not really. What are you going to do? You're going to out? He's got no sun today, so the sun that comes through that front window, through the blind, onto the settee, the sofa, he loves sitting there in the sunshine, indoors. But the sun's not out today. It was supposed to be. The weather forecast said sunny, but it isn't. More like early morning mist and fog rising up to form clouds. It looks a bit like that. So what do you want to do then? You going out? Eh? You going out? Come on. Ugh. You going out? No? Please say. As soon as I shut the door, he'll go walk up to it and want to go out again. Anyway, so that's what's going on, but I don't want to get to the state where I'm filming something just for the sake of it. I don't want to get to that state. So there may be a day or two missing every now and again where there just isn't anything, you know, and that's how it'll be. And we've done all the lights now, so you know we've got those up, we've got them working. So you know, like a day like yesterday, I left to take Hannah back. We left about 5:15. Too early to turn the lights on, and if I'd turned them on, they'd have still been on at 9:30 when I got home. So they'd have been on far too long. So as it's early days for the lights, they're only on an hour at the moment. I thought, well, they'll have a day when they're not on then. So I didn't turn them on. They'll get back to normal today. But there will be an odd day when I'm not here to turn them on. But most of the time I will be. Now next Sunday could be one of those days, but I don't think it will. If Lynn is coming with me, I won't make such an early start, because she's got to get to where I pick her up. So she's got an extra hour or so on the journey, but then she can sit down and relax for the rest of the journey because I'll be driving. So she doesn't mind doing that. But if she's not coming, then I'll get going a bit earlier probably, get my breakfast done, get there, do my chatting to everybody, say hello, have a look around the nursery, do my filming and everything. I'll probably be done by early afternoon, which means I'll be on my way home, and I won't have a late day, so that should be okay. So 2 different plans for next Sunday. One's with Lynn and one's without. But both of them need me to go. Really got to put that effort in to make that journey and do that day out, especially as it's the last one of the year, So so that's that. In here, watering frequency is reducing now, and because quite a few of the plants got put in my Let's Grow Some Roots mix this year, because I started reusing the New Zealand type sphagnum moss, and I had a mix of small bark, perlite and broken up New Zealand sphagnum moss, because it's a brilliant mix for getting roots going. Yeah. What it isn't very good at is drying out quickly when you've got lower temperatures. So I will have a problem in the winter with those pots. They will, from now on, they will not be watered, as in pouring water through the pot. That's not going to happen now, not until into next year. They will get a trickle. Now, as you know, with an orchid in a pot, where are the roots? In the main, well, if you've got any, they're around the edge of the pot, aren't they? That's where the water goes, not in the whole pot. It's a trickle around the edge where the roots are, and the centre of the pot can remain almost dry, and then that is all they need to keep them ticking over through the winter when the temperatures are lower. So that's changing watering style as well as frequency. And I mean, I'm down to, how many mounts have I got left now? If we count the air plants, which they're not going to get watered like the mounts do, obviously. I've got my Orengis, 1, a Phyllum times 2, that's 3. That is, I've forgotten what that is, Glomeratum, I think. That's 4. The Cattleya cernua, 5. And the big one up there. I've got 6 mounts left. That's it. 7 if you count the air plants that I've just done. So 6 mounts. So when I say, oh, I've got to water me mounts today, it takes 2 minutes. Physically, it takes 2 minutes now. It takes longer mixing up a feed to actually feed them if I'm doing a feeding run than it does to water them. But yeah. The only thing that will keep its normal frequency for watering are the Phalaenopsis on the kitchen windowsill, because they're indoors. Their temperature range isn't going to change that much. Their day length is going to change quite dramatically though, because they're not getting their own set of lights in there, that's for sure. Yeah, so things are changing. It is that time of year now. The transition from summer to winter takes place in October into November. It's about a 6-week period where some plants transition at the early end of that and some plants transition late. And this year, as I've said, I'm trying to hold plants from transitioning. I'm trying to stop them thinking it's winter so that they keep growing. Now, to do that, we've sorted the lights out, so we maintain that 12-hour day length. Yeah? That's only part of it. If I go down to my winter temperatures, it's not going to work, is it? So I might have to supply some daytime heat for these plants if I don't naturally get it to keep them growing with the lights. Yeah? For a number of weeks. It won't be for the whole winter. It's just these types that go drier in winter, which is a lot now, most in fact, because of the change in temperatures. It's just to hold them and keep them growing, because they started so late in the season. So the longer I can keep them growing, the more mature this year's growths will be. And then we will be forcing spring on the whole grow room next year. So we will have a period where I'm not using the lights much at all. Yeah, that's when everything is resting. That's midwinter. And then as we come out the other end, as we get to sort of February, these are going to need their sunglasses because they're going to get spring forced on them. I will start raising the temperatures both at night and during the day, and I will start extending the day length early to get them back up to 12 hours, well before it really is 12 hours outside. And we're going to try and get these growing at the start of the season. Keeping them growing through the season isn't difficult, it's getting them to start. And short day lengths, dullness and colder temperatures is not conducive to starting them back into growth, is it? So that's the changes. and I'm hoping that obviously the electricity bill comes to mind, but it's a swings and roundabouts. This place works differently. Round the other place, all through the summer, used to cost me a fortune trying to keep the place cool. I had a big extractor fan and an inlet fan. That changed the air. I had 2 big circulating fans and the humidifier. And on a sunny day, round the other place, they'd have been on 12 hours plus, all day. Literally, trying to keep the place cool. Now, what do I have in here? 1 little circulating fan. So I've saved an awful lot of electricity through the summer. I even stopped using the humidifier because it was too humid in here. I use the dehumidifier now overnight. So when I go to bed, whatever that is, 9 o'clock, 9:30, I switch the dehumidifier on and I turn it off when I get up in the morning and empty it so that it's ready for the next day. So that there's a little bit of that. But one day last week when I came down, the heater was on. I mean, it's all fixed up, ready to go, but it'll only kick in if the temperature drops to below the thermostat level. But one day last week it was on when I got up. How many times it had been on in the night, I don't know. Coldest part just before dawn, so that might have been the only time it turned on. And when I get up, I open the door, so that some of the heat from the house comes out here, which raises it up a couple of degrees, depending on how house the warm is, or even how warm the house is even. But yeah, obviously the heater, the expense of the heater is the largest expense, and that's something I can't do much about. I'm going to have to suffer that. Really, it's got to be done, otherwise it's going to get too cold in here. Now there's not many warm growers left now, a lot of those have died off, and what's left can put up with lower temperatures. But unlike the previous 2 winters, I don't want those lower temperatures with silly humidity. I mean, that first winter when I moved in round here, every night it was virtually 100% humidity in here, and it was only 14 degrees. Everything was wringing wet, and the rot started setting in. So we keep the humidity down now, which means the lower temperatures should be catered for. They should be okay. So this winter is the first time I hope that I've got it right, because certainly when I moved in round here it was very wrong, and last winter, quite honestly, I still haven't got my head round how this place works. Still envisaging what used to happen round the other place and trying to mimic it. Well, there's no point. I can't mimic that other place. This is new. This is how it is now. And hopefully this winter we get it right. Right, so that'll do. Sunday chat on a Monday. As I said, we've had a look at a couple of orchids, not too many. I haven't done I was doing a, let's have a look at all of the type of orchid, wasn't I? I was doing that sort of thing, but that will be something hopefully we might be able to bring back. But there's only so many types of orchids I've got, and then you start repeating yourself again, so we'll have a think about that. But it would be nice to have an actual subject for the Sunday chat. Now, what might be nice, this was suggested by a viewer, I missed my opportunity I missed the opportunity to do the questions and answers with the answers live as part of the Sunday chat, because it's the time of day I need to do that is late in the afternoon. Otherwise, I'm not giving people in the States the chance. I don't want people having to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, to catch a video, because they're not going to do it, basically, especially on a Sunday. It's my lie-in, and then I cook breakfast, do videos till all that's done. So it needs to be later in the afternoon, the light levels are going. But somebody suggested it might be nice and quite atmospheric to do that live broadcast under the lights. So it's not off the cards. Obviously not this coming weekend, that's for sure. So I'm going to leave the Qs and As to such time whereas I've got a free weekend. And that might be not this weekend coming, but the one after. I don't know. And we do it via the lights. It's not going to be that easy. It's all very well saying that, but I need the laptop in here, which it needs the stand for the laptop to go on, and for the cables to reach so that the internet's hardwired and everything. That stand needs to go just inside the door. Well, the lights aren't over in that bit, they're over in this bit. But I'll think about it. We should be able to find a way of doing that somehow. We'll find a way. Yeah, we'll find a way. So in a few weeks' time, we'll have a Q&A, and we'll do it by candlelight in effect. We'll have a candlelight answers session. Real lights, really, not candles. All the stinker candles in here. I don't think that does orchids any good. Smell of burning wax, and I don't like it either. Come to think of it. Yes. So there we go. That's what's been going on. My gardening channel progress, I usually do a progress update here. Most of the people that watch the gardening channel have originated from this orchid channel anyway, so they are sort of, I mean, I've got quite a few people watch all three channels now, and thanks a bunch for doing that. But yeah, I forgot what I was going to say now. Oh yes, the gardening channel progress. I'm aiming at 500 subscribers because it's a YouTube requirement to monetize. Get some extra pennies coming in to the pool. And I'm up to 427. Yeah, out of 500. So that is progressing really well. And I've passed the halfway point of the 3,000 watch hours. I'm now over 1,500 watch hours, so we're past the halfway point. That channel started on the 6th of August, so it's taken 2 months to get half of my watch hours. And you have to bear in mind the number of videos was quite frequent because I was reloading the ones off that were originally posted on the Orchid channel. Obviously that's stopped now. And the number of videos on the gardening channel it's not going to be a daily thing or anything. There isn't something to do every day in the garden, so they're going to reduce down in number. So I reckon it's at least another 2 months before we get that 3,000, and it's more likely to be 3 months. And then hopefully we can monetize that channel as well and start getting some pennies in from that one. I have no hopes of the bonsai channel growing to any extent. There are some very big bonsai channels and a much lower number of smaller bonsai channels compared with the orchid world. You know, the number of bonsai channels is very low, which means the number of people interested in bonsai is a lot lower. So trying to grow a channel in that arena, it's not going to happen. It will tick over, and I'm happy with that. I mean, the amount of money that comes in off of that channel, it might buy you a couple of Costa coffees. That's about the level of it. I'm certainly not all, you know, I'll have to cancel the order for the Porsche and the yacht and all that, you know, won't be able to do that yet. But I am hoping the gardening channel will grow. There is a much wider audience for gardening as a subject. It also, orchids and bonsai tends to be older generations. There are a lot more younger people that have a garden that don't have orchids or bonsai. So the age range differs as well. So I'm hoping the gardening channel is going to grow, and you know, this garden should really come into its own next year. And the orchids I've got left, hopefully I'm going to be able to keep and get through this winter, and they should push on nicely next year. So we stop dropping orchids and start maintaining what we've got, with the odd new one now and again, obviously. I mean, I'm going to a show on Saturday. I'm bound to come back with something, aren't I? So Saturday evening, you should get a video this coming weekend. Sunday evening, you might well get a video, but you won't get the Sunday chat on the Sunday. I'll probably do the same as what I've had to do this weekend and just do it on Monday. And hope that suits enough people to make it worthwhile. I know other times when I've done the Sunday chat on a Monday, it doesn't get anywhere near as many views as it would have done on the Sunday, but it's still, you know, it's still the Sunday chat. It's still me stood up here rabbiting away trying not to spill me coffee and, you know, all that sort of stuff. So anyway, thanks for everybody who supports the channels, specifically this one, as this is on the Orchid channel, especially the monetary support, you know, the patrons who support that and the members. All that is good stuff. As I said, if you find a particular video that's useful to you or something, there's always that buy me a coffee option, the one-off donation to the channel because the channel's done something for you. You know, it's like a tip in a restaurant. You know, you've had a particularly good meal, you know, you leave a tip. But that's what the buy me a coffee's for. It's for the one-off, thank you very much, that video was just what I needed type of thing. That's what that's for. So yeah, but thanks for the support, and the people that are regular viewers, regular commenters, commenters, not commentators, it's me that's yeah, but any support for any of the channels is greatly appreciated, and that'll do for today, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.